Last place is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 8-bit. This is probably the only game on here that I didn't like or had negative thoughts about, negative feelings towards. I don't know, it's miserable. I should specify this is the Game Gear version. The screen crunch is pretty terrible. The game is very mean. It hates you. Some of the emerald placements are very... You wouldn't reasonably be able to find them, partially due to the screen crunch again. The first boss is terrible because the screen crunch again. It's like one of those games that feels like I wasn't fully play tested, if that makes sense. There's some cool gimmicks, like I like the hang glider. I think we get the rocket shoot. No, that's chaos, I think. Some of the bosses, I will say, are very inventive, if not also pretty mean, I suppose. Like they'll have like some jank hitboxes that just don't feel nice or fun to play with. I want to say this is the game with Silver Sonic. That whole level with the maze is just terrible. Like this game literally feels like it hates you, like it just wants to kill you at every second. It was a pretty bad experience. I do hear that the Master System version is better. I like Sonic enough, and I'm not. I have an open enough mind, I suppose, to give it another chance in the format it was meant to be in, but that does not excuse Sega for releasing this pretty garbage game. I do like some of the zone themes. I think they're unique. Like you start an underground zone. The music is, I would say, it's like a higher highs sort of game, but like lower lows than the first. But overall, I like it better. It's got some really good tunes that obviously go on to later games. I always like when they do that. The story was like nothing. It was like very okay, I'd say. The Game Gear, like even the real ending was cute, but it's kind of hard to enjoy when the game is so cynical in design. It was just not a great experience at all. It's just one of those. It's one of those games that like it's so hard. It's not even like challenging or fun anymore. It just feels mean. But yeah, that's probably the only one I have like negative feelings for. Because Fortnite OG, maybe that might be a little negative. I just thought it was poor. Part of the reason is like the community has like given me such a sort of disdain for anything to do with Chapter 1. Just the constant, what do you call it? What do you call it? What is it? What is it called? Like nostalgia, pandering, and like whining, really. People who can't like let go, just wanting old stuff over and over again. For one, I felt like just don't give them what they want, honestly, truth be told. It kind of felt like special treatment, I would say. And then there's all this hubbub and stuff, and then we finally get it, and it feels like such a disjointed marriage between the new movement and changes in Fortnite versus like a very old and, like I said, Oddish probably is gonna get sleep outer. Very old and simple map and weapons and stuff, and it doesn't mesh well at all. I thought the battle pass was very. I like that they remixed some older skins, but it wasn't really for me. It was a short season too, which was weird. This is the first like quote unquote mini season that we ever got, which just was very strange. It just didn't feel like it had everything it needed. Also, there's a lot of. This is like the first Fortnite season that I've played that had prevalent glitches. There were many spots on the map where just like had weird collision and detection and stuff. It wasn't good to me. I just like I said, I already had a sort of a disdain for the thought of even going back, and then they did it and it wasn't all that. It's just like, I will say I did, experiencing, is it Athena was the first map? I want to say Athena. Experiencing Athena was nice. I do see why people like it. It's very flat, has a nice like darker lighting, which I enjoyed. It's got this like rustic feeling that you only get, in Save the World. That's where I first experienced all the old assets and stuff. Just like a nostalgia blast. Like I see why people are stuck in this era, but it doesn't mean I want to constantly go back. And unfortunately, this would be a sign of things to come. Next is Sonic Chaos. As you can see, it's not much higher than the previous game. The thing with Chaos is like it's one of the most inoffensive and what's the word, like derivative, depraved, something along those lines. Devoid, that's what I'm looking for. Games I've ever played. I played it twice. The first time with Tails and the second time with Sonic, and it was 100% playthrough, so I got the good ending. And almost instantly I forgot almost everything that happened in that game. It's just... I probably wasn't going to survive that. There's just not much there. It's... People like to... I hear people like separate, because I think they had different developers, maybe? Sonic 1 and 2, Game Gear, or 8-bit, and Chaos and Triple Trouble. With the ladders, I think they had different developers. I could be wrong about that. But it's also like those other two were built for the Game Gear, so they kind of feel better to play on the Game Gear. With like screen crunch and stuff, it's like built around it, so you don't really have screen crunch to worry about, which is nice. But it's just like it played all right. The level themes were neat, but they didn't like stick with me. I'm not sure why. None of the music is stand out for me. I think that's part of the reason why none of the levels stood out. It's just it's boring to play. One thing that I like is it kept the Sonic 2 thing going, where the bosses are pretty inventive and they challenge your character in interesting ways, which was nice to see that continue on. Dang. Let's use Sandshrew. He needs it. I was gonna use Paris, but wow, right? I don't have Please use sand attack. Okay, nice. That'll work. Okay. It's just even now, like I try to think about that game, I can barely remember anything. Just like a 5 out of 10, you know. That's like whenever I think of like a game that is like is just lacking in almost everything, but it's like it's not bad or anything. It's not taking anything away, you know. It's just, it doesn't have anything to add, if that makes sense, to the experience. That's the game I think of as Sonic Chaos nowadays. The true ending is literally just a palette swap on the end credits, which was disappointing because the special stages were actually pretty neat. They're like different challenges, like one's like a platform challenge, one you have to use like your rocket boots. My only thing is like they don't really explain what you have to do. You kind of just thrown in there, you get a time limit, and you're probably not going to figure it out, you know, on your own for a minute, you know. But yeah, it's not like a bad game or anything. And then Donkey Kong 3 is also around that, and that's mostly because the game is just very unbalanced. It's got a very fun premise and gameplay loop, I would say. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger because it's small even on my screen. Like the shooting and stuff is really fun. You can really get into the groove of things, I would say. It's pretty challenging. It looks decent. But the problem is like I said, it's just very unbalanced. There's like a special power-up item that you can get once per level that sets you into like overdrive basically. And you can, if your shooting is good enough, you can end the level with that if you can use it at the right moment, or if you can what do you call it, get the most out of it. But if you still are in that state, like that overdrive state, when you get to the next level, you'll still be in it at the start of the next level, which is like, oh, okay, that's cool. But if you do that, you won't get the overdrive to spawn in the next level. So you're kind of out of luck because you're kind of out of luck if you don't end the next level like in the first, while your power up is still has its duration. It's kind of hard for me. I know my wording's not the best, but you can carry over your power up to the next level. But if you don't win, you're probably gonna lose the level because you kind of need that power up. In most cases to actually beat a level, and sometimes it'll spawn even though I'm still in it, but sometimes it won't. It's just like it felt like it's one of those games that felt like it wasn't quite play tested. Stuff like that is just very odd. Sometimes you can push DK up and beat the level before the enemies have started spawning if you like get up close enough. Stuff like that just kind of, even though it's fun, because you can pretty much break it or it will break on its own, it's not quite as good as it should have been, maybe, I think. I didn't dislike playing it though, but it has stuff holding it back. That's Fortnite Chapter 4, Season 4. Which is called like Last Escape, I think. It really rubbed me the wrong way how much of a carbon copy this season was of Chapter 2, Season 2. And that's pretty much the main takeaway I'm going to say for this. Down to the map, the new stuff that they added, the story, it was icky how derivative it was, and they never really acknowledged it, which is probably for the best, but it felt like a cheap copy, is what I would say. And, you know, Fortnite is a base level of fun, you know. OG's the lowest I've ever had with Fortnite. Even that's not even terrible. There is a mountain gap between Sonic 2 8-bit and Fortnite OG right there. So I still like had a decent time with it, but it was definitely like just the most experience I've had in a season. I will say it looks very pretty. There was a very nice spy movie, like beachside penthouse sort of vibe throughout, which was nice. And some of the like the portable, what do you call it, turret was cool. Some of that stuff was neat. In the battle ram or whatever, there were cool items, even if it didn't flow like it should have. Donkey Kong Jr. I played like a long time ago, but playing it again, I didn't think it was as good as the original, oddly enough. I'm not even sure why that is, really. I don't think it's as tight. It's kind of hard. I don't even remember most of that playthrough. It's just kind of okay, you know. I like the movement options that you have. Like if you hold two vines at once, you'll go quicker, but you're more susceptible to get hit. It's only like 3 levels, which goes for all the DK arcade games, you know. But it just didn't. I don't think it was as interesting in its challenge and what it did, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like I barely remember anything about that one too, even though I've played it 2 or 3 times, and I can picture a level in my head right now, but I just don't really have a strong impression, I suppose. Yeah. Hazelnut Hex was an indie game I was pretty excited for a few years ago, and I didn't know it was bullet hell. I just thought it was a shooter, and I got pretty like destroyed by this game, and that's not why it's down here. This is like my first bullet hell, I would say. I like the aesthetic and stuff. That's why I was interested in it. It's pretty short. It's cute. The story's cute. You have like infinite continue, so you can just keep going until you beat it. I'm still not like good at it, like at all. Even on normal mode, I'm pretty bad. I think that's probably part of the reason why I just didn't have an amazing time with it. I just wasn't getting a lot of enjoyment out of it because I wasn't very good at it. Maybe, I don't know. It's also just like an indie game, you know. It's super short, not a lot to really dig into. Feels kind of, I feel so bad saying this, and I don't mean this in a negative way. It just feels kind of hollow or missing something. That's how I feel about a lot of indies. But yeah, it's not bad at all. It's a nice game. Even though the aesthetic is I enjoy it. It's very I have no idea how to describe it. It's not unappealing, but it's not. There's a reason we use primary colors in things, because they have like a stronger impact, I would say. And when you have like a vaporwave, not saying this is a vaporwave aesthetic, but those sort of colors, I feel like it's gonna sort of sink into the background, and that's kind of how it is in my mind. Even though I liked it, you know. Ooh, Asha's evolved. That's just how I feel about it. Bloom. I like the red. That's actually really nice. How long is this list? Okay, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get. Let's just do this for now. It's Mario Bros. Original. I like Mario Bros. I don't have much to say about it. I think people sort of when I hear like Mario Bros. Sucks because the controls are bad, it's like that's kind of the point, right? You're supposed to slip and slide everywhere, and it's supposed to be hard to hit the enemies. You're supposed to be precise with it, but you have very imprecise controls. And learning those controls is part of the fun. I don't have much to say about it. There's not a ton going on. Just some mechanic. I actually really like the sort of mid piece it plays in the overall story. Uh-oh. Final boss. The 31! Now, I'm tempted to go for Vine Whip off the rip, because I don't think I'm going to get much once the digs start coming out. Am I gonna... No. Am I gonna survive this? No. We're gonna try to get some sand attacks in, hopefully. I can only hope. Yeah, it's a nice game. It's not something I'm gonna pick up all the time. It's just like I've seen it in arcades. That's like the perfect place to play Mario Bros. It'd be fun with a 2-player, I would imagine. Just give it some time. Try to learn the controls. You'll have a good time with it. It's satisfying too, I would say. I like the POW block is iconic for a reason. It's just the core gameplay of hitting the enemies once and then punting them off is awesome. I wish, I'm grateful we got a couple sequels / remake, but I wish we had something. I guess there's like Mario 2, but kind of not really, I wish we had more of it in some capacity elsewhere in the overall series. Maybe what does he have stunts for? Maybe. Nice. Excuse me. Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I played this years ago when it came out. Not all the way through. I played it. I don't know why. I think just because the monetary aspect of it. When I was younger, it's like I couldn't. There's no way I was getting money to use on it, so I put it off. But I played through it fully because of obviously the eShop shut down. And this is just the story portion of it, like the main game, I suppose. So nothing about the mini games that are in it. But the story itself was very charming. It was nice. It lived up to what people had said about it and I'd heard about in the past. It was very charming. You would think that's why we need sound type, so I can use sound moves when they're off screen. Jeez, a one-shot? I might be screwed here. I didn't want Gloom to get the XP, but... Ooh, that's a nice sprite. I actually like that. But yeah, it was nice. It was fun haggling. It's got that Nintendo magic, even though you're very blatantly being what's the word? Nickeled and dimed and microtransactioned the game, you know. You know, because shoot, is he gonna dig first? I'm kind of screwed here. We're gonna have to try to get Pikachu. If I can get a quick attack off, I'm good. If not, I'm thinking I'm gonna run. I don't want to get Pikachu to get sad. But yeah, that's Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. I haven't played the mini games a whole ton. They're really fun. I just gotta like put time into it. And I do think they actually made it worth the minigames worth it, which helps things, I would say. In terms of, and I think all in all it's like $15, which is not bad. If you just view it as this is an eShop exclusive, that's $15. It helps like swallow the pill down a bit better. Yeah, that was Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Next is the original Donkey Kong. I should say I played the NES versions of these arcade games. I know there's an extra level in the arcade, or rather, the NES version of Donkey Kong is missing a level. I think that's the same for DK Jr. But otherwise, it's the same. That's just what is released nowadays. Unfortunately, they're like it's kind of hard to find the arcade version. Bellsprout, and then Need Arena, hopefully. I actually would like to keep going, but like I said, it's gonna get late. Anyway. Original Donkey Kong, it's nice. You know, it's not a very short, I should say, I did play like the B scenario, which is like a little harder, or what have you, the B game, for all of these, I think. And I played up until you stop getting new things introduced, basically. I don't think I did for Donkey Kong 3. I found out there was like a butterfly later, but I did for Mario Bros. And I think DK Jr. and for Donkey Kong. But yeah, I'd say was probably the most well-rounded of all of those four, including Mario Bros. You know, there's a reason it kind of started it all. It was so solid. I think he evolves at 20, right? No. Okay. Did I count? I don't think I counted Gloom. No. Let's add that to the list. It's just solid, and you can see like the makings of Donkey Kong, the makings of Mario, with how Jumpman moves and such, and the enemies and stuff. It's cool, and Pauline and stuff. It's good stuff. Even if it's just a quick little game. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is decent. It's good. It's what I expected, like, for a sequel. You know, trim the fat, play it loose. You know, your stereotypical sequel, I like to say. Anyway, it's fine. I like the story. I like the minigames that they added. I think those are awesome. I don't like how cheap the game feels. I don't like how little you get to use the camera. the animatronics don't get... Some of the new animatronics don't really get to shine because every animatronic is like lumped into like 3 different archetypes, and then like there's a couple that stand out. It's still got a nice like spooky vibe. It's not as unsettling as the first. It's just kind of loud. When people who haven't played FNAF talk about FNAF, that's what FNAF 2 is. Just constant, you know, screaming in your face and stuff like that. It's still unsettling. It's still kind of spooky though, I would say. There's a very specific, strong atmosphere that these games give. And this one still does it, you know, pretty well. What did he even do? Did he scratch me? Okay, we one-shot him. Get out of here. I'm gonna use Nita outside, I think. I'm just gonna focus on... I don't need to do this, honestly. I'm kind of wasting time, but I might as well for the upcoming battle. And actually, no, I'm probably gonna stop grinding after I finish this tier list, and then I kind of want to do that route first, just so I can get my Nidoqueen or the SSM. Yeah, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 2. I must just say, I actually like how bombastic it is. It sets itself apart from the first. It's not trying to ape off of it, you know, like a lot of sequels do. Even though, you know, it takes from it, it feels all its own. For a decent part of it, I would say. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to mute there. I think I didn't for whatever reason. Next is Fortnite Wilds. Fortnite Chapter 4, Season 3, Wilds. This was a decent season. I don't have much to say about it. I did like the treetops and the jungle theme. I know some people didn't like it. There's always like... I read this. There's always like the, did it say, what was the detour? Rock Tunnel. Okay, I haven't been to Rock Tunnel. I think you need to cut after you go through Diglett. You cut the tree and then you go to Rock Tunnel and then you use Slash. Anyway. Yeah, there's always like, especially the modern seasons, there's always like one that feels on autopilot, and then people sort of lambast. But I feel like people give it too hard of a time in general. It was good. I feel Chapter 4 is pretty solid overall, even though the last 2 are at the bottom here. But like I said, that's still enjoyable, you know. This Diglett, man. But yeah, I don't have much to say. I did like the atmosphere and such. I thought it was pretty good. The location. You're joking. We're just out here one-shotting everyone. I'm gonna use Gloom real quick, and then I think I'm gonna. Anyway. Mega Man, the first one, very solid game, I would say. It's iconic for a reason, started a series for a reason. It's good. I don't have much to say about it. It's solid. I'm actually so curious because some of these rankings feel not what I would put them at today. Anyway. Bellsprout must be poison and then grass, because Gloom only took a little bit, and I think it's secondary poison. Anyway, yeah, Mega Man, good. Some good music, pretty good music overall, I'd say. It's just iconic, like the Robot Masters all have very recognizable designs. I like how it's still kind of anchored in the story setting, and such as anchored in reality. These public service robots go rogue, you know, that can the concrete moving one is at a construction site, you know. Stuff like that. I was gonna say some of the other ones, but I don't really remember most of the other levels. Ice bands in the Antarctic, stuff like that. Besides like Yellow Devil at the end, which is like crazy difficulty spike, I would say. And there's some wonky hitbox shenanigans, especially with like the floating platforms. It's pretty good overall. The first game is, you know, it's fun. Just the Mega Man sort of gimmick of taking your enemies' weapons is novel and fun to mess around with. It's just a nice game, I would say. Resident Evil Code Veronica. I'm surprised it's this low. I'll have to see what's above this, because as time goes on, I have a more and more favorable opinion of this game. At the time, it was a bit hard to swallow because of how long it was. It does look a little... in some ways, it feels like a step down from 3. It feels more like a sequel to 2 in a lot of respects. Things that I feel about that game stay true for this game. It's a beefer of a game, you know. It's just like a lot in terms of length and just how much goes on, like story-wise and gameplay-wise. Stun Spore. I think we're probably gonna keep Poison Powder, right? Oh. Nice. Awesome. Weaving Bell. Let's get out of here. My head's starting to hurt. We might have to end soon. Smooth. Get arena up. Actually, we shouldn't. We should do Sandshrew. He needs it more than Nidorina. Nidorina, I'll be switching her, I think, often. Dude. Yeah, I mean, there's stuff like, I wish the story was framed a bit better overall. in terms of the overall, what do you call it? Like legacy, I would say. I don't know if that's the right word. I kind of don't want to spoil. If I talk about this game, I have a lot to say. I think it was really solid overall. Just like nice. No. Really solid Resident Evil. Ambitious. Most of it paid off. Obviously, there's some annoying parts. Not sure it was ready to go full 3D yet. Stuff like that. I don't know. I have too much to say I could put right here, you know. Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 2 Mega. I wasn't huge on this season, but by the end of it, that was a fun season, you know? It's just one of those seasons that are just pretty fun to play, I would say. A lot of neat yikes. I'm not gonna let this in my dang. The map, it's probably the most map changes in a single season, I would say. You know, outside of chapter changes. It looked beautiful. The from the city to the Japanese countryside. The rails were fun. Stuff like these swords were fun. The bikes and cars, they look cool. They weren't super fun, but they look cool. Let's do Paris. We'll always have Paris. Yeah, it's just solid. Not my favorite or anything, but it was good, you know, for what it is. What do we got? Okay. Got Metroid 2, Return of Samus. This was a pretty good game, I would say. It's kind of repetitive. It's probably the biggest issue. It was pretty solid. It's just a solid Metroid game. I don't have much to say. I'm iffy on the first and the second. Drowsy. We'll try to catch him. That's a very nice spray. Look at that Drowsy spray. Anyway. Do sleep better. Yeah, I'm putting you to sleep. How you feel about that? I'm not sure how well Absorb is going to do, though. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I might teach Bloom Cut. Not sure. I'm iffy on whether I prefer the first game or the second game. I think they're both pretty solid games. I kind of really appreciate the exploration aspect of the first Metroid. But 2 is, again, it's a pretty solid game overall, you know? Nice. Still one more. Hopefully that doesn't like crit or anything. Okay, nice. I think we're good to our Pokeball. So I kind of flip-flop. Because 2, the additions in like movement and such really make it just really enjoyable to play inherently. It's just like the Metroids themselves are not super fun to fight. And like I said, it's pretty repetitive. You kind of just go from one area with a bunch of dens, and you go to the next area with a bunch of dens, clear them out. Next area, a bunch of dens, and there's here and there's like a key item that you might have to do something different for, or like, you know, spider ball around. That's all cool and stuff. But I think, you know, I'm usually someone who appreciates a first game for creating everything, you know, rather than the second game for iterating. But they're both very good. Maybe I prefer 2 as a game overall. I respect the first one more for what it did, I suppose. I don't know, but it's two good games, I would say. And then Super Mario Bros. I played Super Mario Bros. To completion at least once, maybe twice before. I think maybe one time. It's a classic for a reason, you know. It's just so fun. It's one of those games like Sonic, like the first Sonic, where the movement is so good that just playing the game is enjoyable. Did I add Drowsy? We're gonna press it again and we'll check later. Wow, okay. No. My Drowsy was named Cane Jop. In my old playthrough, yeah, 24. Yeah, I would say it's a little long in the tooth because there's so little in terms of I should probably start training for Sabrina now that I think about it. When it comes to how long the game is, when it comes to environments, you're gonna see like the same few over and over again by the end. There's only so much in terms of situations they can put you in with how much is there. The 2 last worlds are really hard. I would say, not that that's bad, I'm just stating it. Thank goodness for the continue thing that a lot of people didn't know about. I didn't know about it till a little bit ago, and I used that, and that I played it that way, which was good. I was gonna switch over, but Poison's not gonna be good for. Maybe switch to Pikachu. I don't know. Fighting moves are not gonna be good. But it's good. It's, like I said, it's classic for a reason. Resident Evil, I played for the first time. I played Jill and Chris. Resident Evil's tough because Resident Evil Remake was my first Resident Evil, and I love that game. And you know, I went back and played the original, and this is another reason why I'm not big on remakes. My feelings are so split between these games now, and it sucks to feel that way, really. There's a lot here that a lot of the stuff that I praised the remake for, I now give it to this game for creating it. It's just a really great game, I would say. Really solid, really great. There's some areas in here that didn't get translated to the original that are really quite nice in the and didn't get translated to the remake that are really quite nice in the original, like the library and such. It's fairly easy before the hunters come in, and it gets pretty hard. Um, some of the camera placements aren't the best. It's kind of hard to turn a corner sometimes with your character, like turn around when you want and stuff like that, which can cause a lot of error, I would say, in play. But it's a solid game all around, like I said. I like the aesthetic of it. The story is quite good. Music's pretty solid. It's just a great game. Fortnite, that's Resident Evil. Fortnite Chapter 4, Season 1. I want to say it was New Beginnings was the subtitle. This was a really great start. Probably one of, if not the best, chapter starts that I played. Yeah, probably my favorite. The promise of what would come in this season, a bit sad to look back on because it's not really realized, I would say. But at the time, it was quite nice. I liked the medieval aesthetic mixed with the modern, and I love the just mashup of a map. I love the story going into this. Actually, no, I didn't. What am I saying? I liked the story starting off of this, I would say. It was a time where I was very optimistic, you know. Really fun, like the hammers and such. A lot of the weapons, like the Excalibur and stuff like that. Just good stuff. Like one of the, probably the last Fortnite season I would consider like a classic. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Anyway, that's Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1 New Beginnings. Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game. I put off playing this game for years because, one, I didn't have access to it. Two, I don't do horror, and it took up a lot of courage to play this game because this game, even after beating it, even after knowing the AI in and out to where I can beat the game pretty handily, even on the max mode, it is unsettling, is the word I would describe. It's a really good management sim sort of game. In the horror aspect is sort of the ticking time bomb of you screwing up. It's awesome. You're like on edge the whole time in these high pressure situations where you have to think quite quickly. It's genius, really. It's awesome. Really good, really great game. It's small, but it's, you know, quite compact and well paced. Really good, I would say. It's a classic for a reason. I really enjoyed playing it. Resident Evil 2. Replayed that after playing the first one. I want to say. I'm not sure what I did here. This might have been my air rank run. I'm actually not sure. I don't remember. Yeah, I want to say this was... Actually, you know what? I think I went... This is 2023. I think I went... This was when I picked up the series again, actually. And because I dropped this series after I played my first playthrough of RE2. I wasn't super satisfied with it, and it kind of sort of not killed my excitement, but I just didn't... Dang, I don't know how not killed my excitement. I just kind of didn't have the motivation or really the passion or anything. I didn't care to move on because of the lackluster experience I had with RE2 at first. I think this is when I finally picked it back up and I played through the other 3 scenarios, and it finally clicked why RE2 is so good. It's like Sonic 3, where you're just like bouncing between all these different elements that are really cool in their own right, and it just flows. It flows so good. Like like seeing this stuff in the B scenario that's like played off the A scenario. It's like, oh, we're playing at the same time. That's cool. And then you play the A scenario for the other character that you didn't play prior. It's like, oh, this is like the same story, but from her perspective. So some of the stuff that are only in Claire's playthrough, they're alongside what Leon would have went through on the A scenario. And then the B scenarios are really good, story-wise and stuff. It was awesome. I got the A rank on my last Leon B, I'd say. I finally got the A rank. I was like, dang, I went from like, yeah, this is good, but it just doesn't live up to remake. It's like, oh, okay, it in its totality is why it's so good, you know. I'm glad I finally did, because that's when I played 3 CV, and then back to 1, I think, after that. Something like that. Pikmin 3. I replayed Pikmin around this time. I started replaying them. I think I forgot Pikmin 4 on one of these lists. Yeah, that's okay. Pikmin 3 had always been... I played Pikmin 3 first after Pikmin 2, but before Pikmin 1, like right before I played Pikmin 1, I think. No, it wasn't right before, but before I played Pikmin 1. And I'd say it's my least favorite of the 3. It's not bad, it's just some of the it's got some of the modern conventions, making stuff easier when it doesn't need to be. It's pretty short. Replaying this, I could see that it needs like another level or 2, because right when it starts getting really good, it ends. It's like, no, man, you almost had it. I think if Pikmin 3 had like 2 more levels, it might be my favorite, just because it's really, really solid overall. It's a beautiful game. One of the Wii U's shining gems, of which there are many, which is just crazy. This is the reason I got a Wii U, was Pikmin 3. Or that I wanted one, rather. I was really excited for this. And it lived up for the most part. The characters are not my favorite. They're fine. What is this thing? Yes. Tackle. The story is decent. I don't like how some stuff from Pikmin 2, and Pikmin 2 does the same thing, where they keep pulling back Olimar's story. Like, just let him get his rest on screen for once, and then you can bring him back in, please. Stop jerking my mans around, you know. Anyway, but some of the lore there is good. I'd say it ties into what Pikmin 2 had going well. It doesn't like trample on it. It doesn't, to me, it doesn't overblow it, I would say, even though the final boss is you know, what was hinted at, I would say, or implied in Pikmin 2. I don't want to spoil it because it's really quite interesting. I don't like the I'm one of those people who think Louis was character assassinated. I don't like that, but it doesn't ruin the game. The game itself is beautiful. Some of the new stuff is okay. That's another thing, like the rock Pikmin. We keep putting in more and more overpowered Pikmin to where most of the types are obsolete now. That's the sort of thing that I mean. Like like I said, when it really starts getting good, it ends. That's my biggest issue with it. But it's quite solid. I haven't played the DLC stuff yet. Hopefully I can get my hands on it someday. But yeah, that's Pikmin 3. Oh, I do like the Wii U gamepad. Is not my favorite way to play it, but it's really good. I put it under the Wiimote, but over the GameCube controls. And over the Switch controls, I would say. I'll use Bearish, why not? Pikmin, the first one, that was a replay as well. I replayed all three. Man, that's a hard one. Especially, it's one of those ones where you go back, because I started with Pikmin 2. There's a lot, like, the Pikmin AI can be kind of dumb. But it's also like, oh my goodness, man. This is such a beautiful game. It's pretty short. But not, like, underwhelmingly short. It's, like, just a shorter game. And I went for 100% again. I don't know, it's just like, I love it for just existing, creating this awesome world, story, atmosphere. The atmosphere in Pikmin is some of the best I've ever played in the game. The mood it gives. I have so much respect for this game. It's amazing. There's some frustrating parts, to be sure, especially with the GameCube controller, especially with the Pikmin AI at times, and some of the terrain not quite friendly to you as a player, in ways that it probably wasn't meant to be. It's just a beautiful game. Beautiful. And that's Pikmin. Sonic Frontiers. This is when this came out. I had a pretty amazing time with Sonic Frontiers. I played this like right after I played Adventure. And thematically there was a lot of... It's mostly fit, I would say. Story-wise, with all the references, maybe not so much. But overall, I really like the story. I think it's pretty great. I think it's awesome. The music's incredible. I really like the gameplay loop that they established here. The open zone. Okay, why are you being so mean? Just the loop of, like, you get you get your memory tokens, you get your keys, you play your cyberspace, you get your gears, you unlock the next major story sequence etc., etc. It's a really satisfying gameplay loop. I think they really nailed that. Unfortunately, this game is lacking in polish. That's the biggest issue. Yeah, it's like needs like time in the oven for like all the final stuff where they like clean up the game, you know, because it is fairly janky at times. Cyberspace is not very fun. It's very slow. Uh, it's not terrible, and it feels pretty awful. I love that you can control your you can change your controls in the overworld. I think that's awesome. This is one of those games that just feels fun to play, you know. I love the atmosphere, like, you know, the vibe of everything. Very moody, rainy day sort of thing. I already said the music, the bosses are really good. The end of the game is kind of lackluster. You can tell they kind of ran out, unfortunately. But still, overall, pretty good. I would say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I really love that game. One of my favorites for Sonic. Just a beautiful time that when that came out. I think it was in the summer. It was a beautiful, wonderful time. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I was not prepared for how insanely good this game would be. This is easily one of the best games I've ever played. One of the best sequels I've ever played. The best Resident Evil I've played so far. Just incredible. The story's insane. It's beautiful. Nemesis is awesome. It's so good. Oh my goodness. I want to play just thinking about it. I say the music's just really good, daunting. Everything that I was disappointed about in 2, at least like in terms of setting and story, is in here. For the most part, I don't really care for some of the retreads with the villains, I would say. That's all I'll say about that for now. But just being able to explore the city finally, so like it felt like a load off my shoulders, you know. It felt so freeing. This is exactly the sort of atmosphere and tone and setting that I crave when it comes to like disaster stuff. You know, this is a almost perfect portrayal of it. I wish there was even more. It's that good. I just wish there was more to chew on, more game, because it is pretty short in the later half. The locations are very bite-sized, which is good, but like I said, it becomes even shorter in the second. Like the park is like almost nothing. I wish we had more of that. For how beautiful it is, you know. The only thing, yeah, there's quite a bit that's like reused here. The improvements and additions to your player character in terms of movement are greatly appreciated. The quick turn and what's the other thing? The stairs. Just game changers. It's awesome. Legendary game. It's incredible. Absolutely blown away, because you almost never hear anything about this game, and if you do, it's usually like people who don't like it because they prefer RE2. Anyway, who will we find next? Okay, last but not least, 2023 game of the year. Pikmin 2. Pikmin 2, my favorite Pikmin. It was that way after I played the trilogy, and even after this recent replay of the trilogy, I think that's still the case. Only thing about Pikmin 2 is it reuses a lot from the first game, but it's at an acceptable level for me. When you just remix stuff like enough to where it's this, you know, it's the same, it resembles it, but it's still has its own identity. That's all I need, and that's what Pikmin 2 does. That being said, I do wish there was like one more original area, because it's all reused minus one new area. But some of them are so mixed up that they don't even feel the same. That's something that a certain other game in this series should take note of. Anyway. The controls, and this is the new Play Control version. This is the Wii port of the GameCube game. For the longest time, I couldn't even find definitive proof online that the GameCube version existed. Because Pikmin was so niche. You know, Pikmin's a very niche. Let's evolve. Actually, we'll do that at the end. Or not. Actually, I'm not even supposed to be fighting trainers while I do the list. Let's finish up this list. Yeah, so music's incredible. I will say, again, a lot of the stuff that I liked about 2, going back to 1, I'm like, oh, okay, it came from 1. So I appreciate 1 for what it did. But 2 is not without its merits because of the additions, you know. Bosses, story's great. The new Pikmin are really good. The dungeons, the Piklopedia is one of the best things in any game, honestly. Man, I will only say it's another one that's long in the tooth, especially if you go for 100% true ending, which it's one of those game series where the true ending's pretty much the only ending that matters. The first ending is like a false ending, pretty much. It's like Kirby, like every modern Kirby game is like that now. And the last 2 dungeons are pretty much remix dungeons, and they're very long, and they don't have anything new. But up until that, the dungeons are a lot more varied than people give it credit for, and they're always pushing you forward, very Metroidvania style. You earn power-ups, and then you can use them elsewhere. Yeah, it's... Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. It's that good. I love that game. Yeah, like these top 3, some of my favorite games all the time. And then everything... Let's look at this list. Show the full list real quick. Everything like... I'd say Mega Man 1 and up. Pretty great. Actually, probably FNAF 2 and up. At least, like, pretty good games to me. But yeah, that's gonna be it for 2023 games.